Thank you. All right. Now we know how. That will not be on there, by the way. But if you say it again, I will have to stop it again. Now, I'll just use Allie's version, which is just as bad. All right. Now we got to figure out how to draw these in 3D and actually use everything you've learned so far. Can we find the chiral car? Well, that won't be hard because we're going to draw it that way. Number two, can we assign priorities? And you will get some partial credit. That's the good news about this. This is not easy stuff. The partial credit will come at least from figuring out the priorities, and that's pretty easy. But the big thing now is I got to show you how to draw this guy in 3 dimensions, and that's not easy. All right, so I'm going to show you how to draw him in 3 dimensions. Somehow turn this into all 3 dimensions. When I draw it like this, you can't see it. If I draw it like this, everything's in just 2 dimensions. I can't tell who's coming out this way or that way or the other way. Okay, so I've got to show you how. All right, and then we'll do the configurations, whether they're R or S. Okay, which means whether they're clockwise or counterclockwise. All right. So first thing to do here. And you're this isn't going to make sense to you quite yet until you write this, until we actually do an example. But the first thing you're going to do in the configuration is you're going to rotate this molecule in your mind, even though it's drawn on the paper one way. You got to rotate it so that you are looking through the molecule. See what I mean by through the molecule? Down the bond of lowest priority. The yellow one is the bond of lowest priority. He is the lowest number, 4. Okay? I have to turn the molecule somehow in my head, so I'm looking this way, through the molecule, down this bond, and then I will simply connect them in order, 1, 2, and 3 priority. Okay? Let's say top priority is the orange, all right? And then next is green, and then next is black, right? Orange, green, black, orange, green, black. I would be making a circle. And what way is that circle going when I'm drawing the circle? Orange, green, black. Clockwise. Let's take a look at this guy, who we know is an enantiomer. I turn him in my head. I got to have a common frame of reference. I turn him in my head so that the yellow one's going back into the paper, and I'm looking through the molecule down the bond. Orange, green, black.
Counterclockwise.
See, this
How
is
does
what
that happen?
that's because they are mirror images, and that's how we'll tell apart. One guy will be called R, the other guy will be called S. All right, so that's what you have to do. You have all the tools now. I'm just going to show you how to draw it. First of all, you're going to look, like I just said, through the molecule down the bond of lowest priority. And then you will connect, like I just showed you, connect the dots. 1, 2, 3, highest to lowest. Draw a circle, connecting the 3 other bonds from highest to lowest priority. This will tell us whether he's R or S. And remember, R or S is our chemistry configuration. It has to do with the priority of the bonds, of the atoms bound to the central carbon. It does not necessarily relate to the D or L, which tells us whether it rotates light clockwise or counterclockwise. Okay? It's not necessarily the same thing. All right? It may be the same or they may not.
All right, please tell me you put an R for the one that turns clockwise.
Exactly. R for clockwise and S for
If it
counterclockwise.
wasn't, I would have been really screwed up.
S would be like left is sinister, left counterclockwise. R would be right to the right, to the right, to the right, to the right, to the left. To the... What song is that?
Yay.
Doesn't Beyonce sing that? To the left?
I don't know. What's the name of the song?
Cupid Shuffle.
That's it, the Cupid Shuffle. Very good. Lizzie, she's a wealth of information. Just the other day, she was like,
What?
okay. All right, let's learn how to draw these. Oh, by the way, like I just said, R is clockwise and S is counterclockwise. Now, time for some examples. If you notice in your paper, you've got quite a bit of room for the rest of the paper, almost half the paper. I want you to leave, well, again, I'm going to draw 2 examples, like 1, 2, 1, 2. So you should be able to fit at least 4 drawings under there of the way I'm going to draw. You might want to wait till I draw the first one so you see how much room you need, okay? All right. Now, Let me make sure I draw an easy one first. Remember, you're going to need room over here too. I want black. It's not black! Oh my God, it's not black! I can't hit the black button more.
Here we go.
Yeah.
You just have to do that.
We got it.
All right. Now, these first two I draw, if you watch, are just going to be regular lines, straight lines. And they are ones that are in the plane of the blackboard, or the whiteboard in this case, or your paper. So these guys are, if this is your paper, this carbon, here, if I look at here, the carbon and the chlorine are in the plane of the paper. Carbon, chlorine are like this. Now notice, this guy's coming out, this guy's going back. Actually, I want to use this one. Okay, carbon and the chlorine, right? This guy's coming out, this guy's going back. How am I going to show that? All right, I'm going to show that by a wedge coming out at you for this guy. We'll call him a bromine. And this guy here, the white one or the yellow one, who's going to be my hydrogen, will be a dotted line behind him.
I can see that.
You see it? And by the way, that's why I shortened this guy up a little bit because I made him a little longer than I wanted to. But there. There. That looks a little better. It's like a tetrahedron. I'm trying to draw a tetrahedron, kind of like we saw in the last chapter when we did, we were predicting the molecular shapes. Triangular, pyramidal, all those shapes, tetrahedral. Well, that's a tetrahedron. Okay? Now, that's your, I will most likely, not except for on this first worksheet you're going to be doing when I'm done talking here, I will most likely have these already drawn for you. The question is, can you interpret them? And they're not that easy. All right? What's my next step? I'm going to have to assign priorities to this guy. All right? Let's assign priorities to this guy. Who's going to have the top priority on here? Look at it. Who's the heaviest?
CL.
CL's not the heaviest. Bromine's the heaviest. He's going to be 1.
I was thinking electronegativity.
No. And even if it was electronegativity, oh wait, you're right. Chlorine would be, he would win. All right, 2. And then who's 3?
CH3.
And 4. Okay. Now I purposely drew this guy like this because he's the easiest to see. Here's why. How did I tell you had to look at these guys?
Down the lowest.
Right. So I've got it drawn that way already. I've got it drawn so that you're already looking through the molecule down the bond of lowest priority. I'm already looking the correct way. All I got to do is connect the dots. And what will those dots connect as? See it?
Counterclockwise.
Oh, okay.
All right, so counterclockwise. Everybody see? 1, 2, 3. Got it? That makes him S. Counterclockwise. Now, I want you to pretend there's a mirror here. Because this is what you're doing on your first worksheet, okay? Pretend there's a mirror there. And I want you to draw the mirror image of this guy. He has a certain name. We're going to learn that name tomorrow. We're not going to get it today. But they're called enantiomers. You'll get that paper tomorrow. But pretend there's a mirror here. Look here. Watch. Watch me draw this. All right. The first thing I would say, well, first of all, I'll draw my carbon where you should be. Now, what will be here? The chlorine, right? You'd be like this. And what will be up top? What will be up top? CH3. You see? Okay. And sticking out over here now, facing the opposite direction a little bit, would be what?
Bromine.
The bromine. And going back into the paper or into the blackboard is the hydrogen. Okay? Could have gone back a little further, but whatever. Okay? Now, again, I'll assign priorities, although you already know they're going to be exactly the same as they were a minute ago. 1, 2, 3, 4, and he is drawn again perfectly for me. He's drawn with the lowest priority bond going into the paper, so all I have to do is connect the dots. What am I drawing this time? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, clockwise, so he is R. All right? Pretty simple stuff. Now, I'm not going to do it as simply as that every single time. They're not always going to be drawn with the H sticking into the paper, so all you have to do is connect the dots. And that's when it gets tough. All right, and also you're not always going to have H, Br, Cl, and CH3. You're going to get different elements as well. So let's draw a few other ones. All right, you have room down there for at least 2 more. See if you could draw these guys for me. Now I won't necessarily make them mirror images of each other either. Let's see. Draw. See if you can figure this guy out. This first one, you know what? I'll keep these same because I want to use the colors. I want to use this. I'm just going to rotate them and draw them differently. Here's something you got to realize something. Here, watch. This one is this one over here. So I'm going to do this one here. Okay. This guy is that guy. Y'all see it? Now you realize I could have drawn him 3 different ways in this configuration. I could have. Watch what I do. Watch when I do this. I'm going to rotate him so that now the yellow and the black are in the plane. And then the green will be sticking out, and that guy, I could do it so the orange, the bromine, could be in the plane. Then I could do this. 1, 2, 3. Or I could have the bromine sticking up. 1, 2, 3. So do the math. There's a lot of ways I could draw this. Every one of which, before I do the configurations, I've got to rotate it so I'm looking through the molecule. And that's not always going to come out to be perfect. Let me show you with another example. Still using these guys. Watch. Put them down here. Okay, try that one. And I'm still using the same letters, the same atoms, so that make it easier with my colors I've got. But the next one I do, I'll do something completely different. And then I'll let you do the work, get the worksheet started, because you only have about 5 minutes left here. What are you going to do? Assign priorities. You already know what they are. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, what is this guy's configuration? Clockwise or counterclockwise? R or S?
S.
Let's see. Watch. You watching? Here's what people who said S are thinking. 1, 2, 3. What am I drawing? Counterclockwise. Did you rotate it the correct way? No. You did not. Let me show you. Let me draw this guy. Or let me find the right model first of all. There you go. All right. There's bromine. There's chlorine. There's hydrogen coming out at you, and there's the methyl behind you. Right? If I just look at it this way, you're absolutely right. 1, 2, 3. But I don't. I've got to get behind the paper and look at it that way. I got to rotate this in my head around this way. Yeah. That makes it difficult. Now, what is it? Is he S? No, he's R. Because you actually have to get behind the paper and look that way at it. You see? That's what I meant by looking through the molecule down the bond of lowest priority. You don't look this way at it. You look through it down the bottom of lowest priority. And that makes a huge difference. Let me draw one more, and then we won't even have time to finish it. You don't have to finish it for homework.
So does that mean we can redraw it like we're looking?
Well, you can if you want to, but you know, there's a little trick, obviously, about this, right? What's one of the little tricks you're going to know? One of the little tricks is if the bond of lowest priority is drawn into the paper, it's pretty easy, right? It's already set up for you. If it's drawn coming out, it's going to be what? The exact opposite. Okay, can you do other ones? Let's look at this one where I don't have it either of those two. Watch. Try that one. This is the last one we have time to do. Oh, I meant to do it. Well, that's okay. We'll have time tomorrow. I meant to do a different one besides these same elements. You know, but that's okay. We'll stick with this one for now. Tomorrow we'll use some different elements. Probably not a bad idea to stick with this anyway. At least see the colors. You're kind of used to seeing the colors the way they are. Let's look at the priorities. I've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? This guy, the lowest priority bond, is facing that way. So I got to get myself on this side of the molecule. All agreed? I'm not going to look at it from here, over this side. I'm going to look at it from this side. I get myself on this side of the molecule. I look, 1's here, 2's over here, and 3's up top. Can you do that in your head? You know, 1, 2, 3. What am I drawing? Did you all call it R? Because it is. It is R. All right. And there's one other possibility. I could have had them with the lowest priority drawn up. I will definitely do one like that tomorrow. All right. But this gets you a pretty good start on it. What I want you to do